Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode. Last week we tinkered in nifskope. We took the mesh of a ring, we assigned different textures to it, and then we assigned this new mesh to the ring itself. We realized though that we need an icon for it. This is what we're going to do today. To create the icon, I moved the ring away from everything else so that there's a nice clean area. I'm gonna choose an angle I like so. Have a look at the fog. I'm gonna keep the gray background, I like that. Hit print screen on my keyboard and open GIMP. There, I'm gonna need a new file. I recommend from the get-go you select advanced options and have transparency as a background. That way when you paste your screenshot, you see you can clean around it and you're gonna have transparency. Sorry, having transparency is really better when you make icons. You know, in Morrowind you can choose the opacity of your menu, so you may or may not see through it. And if your icon has a solid black background, there's no problem if there is, if there is no transparency whatsoever. However, if the player likes to reduce the opacity of their menu, they're going to see that solid black square around your icon and it's not very pretty. If you already have the file created and you didn't have transparency, no problem. You want to go to layer, go down to transparency and add alpha channel, and now you have it, you have the transparency. Sometimes you may do exactly that, you create and then you paste your screenshot, Ctrl V, and you go, oh right, I need transparency, layer, transparency, and you can't add the alpha channel. No problem, it's because that screenshot that you just pasted is still a floating selection. You just need to anchor the layer. And now you can add your alpha channel without any problem, and you see you can delete things. Now we want to keep the ring and nothing else. Very easy. We want that a little select by color. I'm going to select all the gray, which is why I looked at the background. If the object I have is very dark, I'll tend to keep the gray background. We want to clean everything around. I'm lazy, I'm going to make my brush quite big and solid. There. Nice and clean. You can see I have the precision of a surgeon when it comes to using GIMP, but that's just me because I'm really not good with it. Alright, this is obviously not the right size we want. We're gonna have to crop that. And the icons actually have in-game a 32 × 32, but for now let's go with a 40, so that when I make my selection, you see, no, that's not good. When I make my selection, undo crop, thank you. There we go. I want to have the fixed aspect ratio. So now no matter what I do, I have a nice square. I can drag it around. Definitely want to reduce the size. I have my ring smack in the middle. That looks about right. Click. And now I have a nice square with my transparency, but it is obviously way too big. We're going to go to Image, Scale Image. I want to keep the proportion there, so I make sure these are linked. And instead of 145, we want 32 in width and height. Scale the object. It looks really tiny, but that's perfectly fine. You don't want to hit save. If you hit save or save as, it's going to want to save in a weird XCF format, which is not something Morrowind is going to recognize. So instead you want to go export as. And you want to navigate to your icon folder. This is on my D drive, on my modding install of Morrowind, data files, icons, and like the textures, like the meshes, I have my own icon folder. That way it's tidier. I'm gonna call it Nucleus ring. Morrowind is okay with different formats of textures, namely DDS and TGA. DDS is better, I mean that's my understanding, because it is smaller, and GIMP actually has a DDS extension, so that's just perfect. Yes, I already played with that. I want to replace it. Okay, brilliant. Back to the construction set, back to my ring. I'm gonna now replace the default texture ring extravagant 01 TGA icon. I click on it, I navigate to my folder, I look for, my goodness, I did some truly horrible things in my time. Not that it's a much better, it's a tiny bit better. Nucleus ring, open. It looks green, but I promise you in game it's going to look good. Save. No need to keep this floating ring in the middle of my room. There we have it. Nucleus has a very simple basement, and his ring looks like something rather unique. That's it for today. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.